Welcome back to another edition of Cannabis in Canada, kicking it live 2014. Jason Wilcox coming to you from British Columbia, Canada. Yeah, it's been a month. Had to take a month off to actually take some time for Jason. 16 months. Coalition Against Repeal has now been active. So it's kind of been a year in review. I just kind of wanted to touch base with people. After 16 months for a medical patient that's terminal like myself, personal health care really needs to come to the forefront. The coalition was very taxing, but we've made history, my friends. We've done a lot, from the birth of the coalition, from opening the trust fund in 2012, all through 2013. I think we raised $50,000 or so in Mr. Conroy's trust without even a case, before the courts. You know, and now Mr. Conroy served in November, you know, and we now have a case before the courts. And this is important in understanding that our mission as patients was to raise an army, you know, if you have it, or raise a body of the willing. And that's thousands of medical patients we've managed to unite under one banner, which is the coalition. Now, the coalition is nothing more than an entity, and it's a body of our peers directionally steering towards Mr. Conroy to fund a fight to protect our gardens on a national scale, under the Constitution of Canada and the Supreme Court of Canada, the highest courts of the land, so that we can make a constitutional right in this country. When this is over, the coalition will be dissolved, at least by its name. What the group wants to do with itself, being a few thousand members strong now on Facebook, several thousand members strong in our registry, I'm not sure. All I know is when I founded it and when we started this, you know, and all along through this, we have so many different groups, organizations, and individuals that are members of the coalition, you know, that we're a collective body, again, of the willing, an ad hoc group, not bound by societal law, not bound by all the incorporation crap. We're simply steering funds and steering awareness towards Mr. Conroy's case. And we've done that in incredible ways. I'll ask my camera lady just to zoom in. I'm sure many of you remember the November concert. So this concert here, we're very proud of. You know, being medical patients, you know, it took myself, you know, urban grower, Ramo, and basically his wife to really do the core work, and a few other volunteers and core friends, and you know, big shout outs and big ups to all of our sponsors. You know, I mean, we had more in sponsorship than we ever did in door sales. You know, I mean, that's what's huge about BC's collective. You know, and in future videos here, I'm going to be going around and trying to show you guys exactly where our lockboxes are, how many compassion clubs are involved out here in BC in helping this initiative, how we raised $17,000 total, including the bond from Redbeard. We have $17,000 total raised from that concert. And then, of course, we got custom coalition meditators. I'll ask my camera lady to zoom in. Now, I know a few people on the East Coast that haven't quite seen these yet. I know they're in Ontario, but in Nova Scotia and stuff, they haven't seen them. So, you know, they're kind of interesting because my friend John, he actually started this going here in Canada. And basically what this is, it's an all-in-one package, and it's airtight. You can't smell nothing. Put your cannabis in there, your rolling papers. You got a built-in grinder, so when you need to sit there, you can grind it up, and then as well, store it back up. And this is important for medical patients because, as we know, even with a license, you still get jacked up on the bus if you stink. You know, you have to prove you're legal. You know, and that's the problem with the discrimination and the scarlet letter that they plastered on us with marijuana. You know, but you know, it's stuff like this that matters. You know, being able to protect yourself just from any sort of unnecessary bad policy being applied to you, such as having a smell, which causes police to come and investigate whether you're legal or not. It's a pain in the ass. So these are cool things. And what's even more interesting is John was nice enough to donate 200 of these from his company, custom made, to the coalition for our concert. Now, they didn't quite get in on time. So what we did instead is John decided to go and put them out in all the different supports that we have, all our different endorsers and sponsors. Once again, thank you to all. I can't name you all. It's just going to take a whole movie. But we now have those out there, and we basically almost sold all 200. That's $4,000, my friends. That's a $4,000 pledge from John that's going to be going to Mr. Conroy's account, okay, for the coalition's fight. So big up to John, big up to Meditainer Canada. You know, that's huge. You know, and all this kind of collective work, the concert that we just did, the concert Ted Smith and friends are doing over on the island, big ups to you guys, huge. You know, it's very empowering to know that as a collective, Fight the MMAR, Women's Alliance, you know, Normal Canada, everybody across the country have come together to support Mr. Conroy's challenge. And that's what this is about. And if you're another group and you want to help fund. We're all for it. Throw fundraisers, do whatever. Let's do what we can. But let's finish the fight. the hardest part, and I've said this from the beginning, for 16 months was keeping the country empowered that Mr. Conroy was going to act. So many people question and question and question. Mr. Conroy's not going to do it. He's going to throw us under the bus. You know, da-da-da-da-da. That's all done. We're now before the courts. You know, I know that there's a lot of people out there that are scared, they're nervous, they know what's going on. I'm in the same boat. You know, I've got a federal license and I can't grow because I'm stuck in the middle. You know, I'm stuck in the middle of being able to transfer my license to a different location where I can actually grow the number of plants I'm permitted to grow. You know, but that's unfortunate because I'm caught between this policy. So I understand the stress you all are under, you know, and it's no different. We share this as a collective. You know, the most important thing to remember is that there's two matters. There's a coalition's challenge, well, Mr. Conroy's challenge, constitutional challenge, that the coalition spearheaded going forward. And at the same time, a branch of McMaster's and the other consortium of law firms across the country who have filed their class action for privacy. Now that's a huge, huge matter. And right now there's a pledge form that we just put out. And that pledge form is available on our site. And it's binding to John Conroy and Company, not to the coalition. Okay, it is a pledge form where you can legally pledge. It's an irrevocable pledge. You'll be able to pledge a percentage of your choosing, you know, of your winnings, if you so wish, towards Mr. Conroy's constitutional challenge. Given that we only raised $70,000 towards a $250,000 estimated, or $250,000 estimated constitutional challenge, which will follow after the injunction, regardless. Win, lose, or draw on the injunction, it still goes. I believe that the injunction is a no-brainer. It's really, we're waiting to hear back from the Crown at this point. We have no idea. My understanding is they need, like I've said this for over a year and a half, right from the day one, fire, mold, public safety, not me, not you. If you have a garden, you're not a public safety threat. And if you are, then you probably shouldn't have a permit. You should be investigated by the proper authorities if they actually investigated us. So it's one of those things where I'd love to see them, the fire and the mold, come out in court and see what they have to say towards our experts, as well as even if us just as people, as Canadians, look at the fact that over in Colorado, you know, there's no mold and fire. There's no houses burning down or a place being shut down for mold, and yet they're proposing to legalize in Alaska with the same model. 12 plants per home, 6 plants per adult. Now what is wrong with that? That's a reasonable market. Now I don't hear any Alaska claims of fire, mold, and safety. Only here in Canada does cannabis combust, and only here in Canada does it collect mold, until we can say that it doesn't under the Constitution because a judge says that everything that is being said in the media is false, hyped, you know, and I'm proud to say that. You know, I'm to a point now where I'm almost ready to retire, finally, after 20 years of activism, you know, 20 years into my illness. You know, I need to start focusing back on my own garden, getting back to the garden and doing what I like to do. You know, for a year I couldn't do that. For a year I had to really focus in with my team and with all of y'all to build what we've built. Now it's supposed to be fun. 2014 is our year to make a difference. And it's not really up to us other than to fund our lawyers for the most optimal challenge. The most optimal challenge meaning the best expert witnesses, the best patient witnesses that we can put on the stand, we pay for them and put them on the stand. But if Mr. Conroy doesn't have the funds to put the best witnesses and the federal government uses taxpayers' dollars, well, it's a no-brainer on who's going to win that challenge. You know, so I mean, really, we want to make sure that we fund this most optimally and also have a fun time doing it. Like the concert in Ontario, that's already booked for March. You know, the concert coming up here at the end of the month in February. You know, that's exciting. Ted Smith over on the island at the Hush Club, downtown Victoria. You know, check out our site. We're going to have all that information up there. Go to Facebook, check us out on Facebook, Google Coalition version 2.0 or MMAR Coalition version 2.0. You will get us. There's 2,000 people, or just under 2,000 in there now, 1,900 people, like-minded, all discussing how to be directionally focused and to protect our gardens in this country. Medical patients are doing it now, but I guarantee you, for those of you that are just legal and say this doesn't apply to me, I guarantee you it surely does apply to you in the case, in the sense of case precedent setting. In the fact that if medical patients win the constitutional right to cultivate what we personally consume, I would like to see what happens when we legalize if they try to tell the legal person they can't grow while I can. So I hope people can understand that this is simply paving the driveway to a bigger house of legalization. This is Jason Wilcox. That was an update for what's going on now. Once again, our accounts are at 70,000. We're doing well and climbing. 2 more concerts in the bank. Medtainers are available. Contact John with Medtainer Canada. He is ordering more. If you want some on the East Coast, you want to get them out there for a fundraiser, we're doing that. A lot of things are going on. We still got trifolds and that are going out, but we decided not to really print anymore just because it's before the courts now. So there's not much more that we have to say around promoting what it is that we want to challenge, because Mr. Conroy's already laid the challenge down. So now it's on us to say, let's have fun, let's pick it up, let's empower one another, and let's move forward. Mentally strong and physically strong, okay? And do not let these policies and rigmarole you hear in the papers get you down, okay? Don't let the letters from Health Canada say you need to shut your garden down, make you shut it down, until the courts of the high land, the highest courts, have spoken. We'll see you in the next movie. It's Jason Wilcox signing out.
Well, business is blossoming at a hydroponic shop in BC. Sales have been smoking hot ever since 2 U.S. states legalized marijuana. The company, called Green Planet, carries everything anyone would need to grow plants, any kind of plants, indoors. In Colorado, it is now legal to have 6 marijuana plants in a secure area.